Pizza delivery drivers of Reddit, what was the most fucked up place you've ever stopped at? I was delivering chicken, KFC, not pizza, but my worst stop was pathetic, really. I knock on the door, I hear a kid yell I got it, he opens the door, and runs up the stairs yelling to his friends the chicken assholes here. The chicken assholes here, after which a crowd of about 8 preteens at the top of the stairs start throwing change down the stairs at me to pay for the delivery. I asked if they could hand me the money, they laugh and just throw the quarters dimes etc harder. So I picked up the bag of food, winged it up the stairs at them, it hit the wall, and I split. Told the boss what happened and if they call to complain I won't listen or apologize, I'll just quit if he brings it up. I found out later he did get a call and told them to get stuffed. Good boss. It was outside of town on a dirt road with tall trees. Every house was basically just plywood shacks. There was broken down cars and trash everywhere. The entire neighborhood just reeked of a B-rated horror film. I find the right house and walk up to the door, but it was just a blanket, so I had to yell pizza. They come to the door and grumbled. It was a haggard looking man wearing boxers and a dirty white tank. Something felt wrong as he handed me a bill that looked washed. I held the $100, with old Ben Franklin's face on it, up to the light and could clearly see Abe Lincoln in the paper. They had ordered around $50 worth of pizza and wanted change. He tried convincing me that he went to the bank and they gave him that bill. I asked him why, then wrong face was on there, and he said that's how they do it. I said hell no and drove away as fast as I could. We stopped taking orders that don't have street roads. Someone ordered pizzas to a funeral. There were a ton of people there, all somber and dressed in black while I rolled up in my bright red greasy t-shirt. Lol. Definitely one of the most awkward experiences I've had. I didn't end up delivering the pizza, but the address was an abandoned house. It was around dusk and the house was so obviously uninhabited. I could see trees growing through the windows and the backside of the house was crumbling so badly I could see to the backyard from the street. The instructions were to come around back. I double checked the address after locking my doors, called the customer a couple of times, called the store and told them what was up and why I wasn't delivering the pizza, and headed out. I mean, seriously, who would have been dumb enough to go to the back of that house? I once delivered to a guy living under his porch, if that counts. I drove up to the house. It's pitch black. No lights on. I look at the ticket and it says use back door. I go up the steps and no lights on. Nothing. Then I hear a voice from below me say, "Hey, down here." I look under the porch and there's a small door leading into what looked like a makeshift apartment. I had to actually crouch to get to it. Gave the guy the pizza and bounced the fuck out of there. The one where they tried to pull me in the house. Not coincidentally the last delivery I ever made. Are you dead now? Yeah, man. Used to deliver part-time in a not so nice part of town. Used to do a regular delivery to an adult bookstore. My 18-year-old mind was blown the first time I went in and saw all the sex toys and shit hanging on the walls. Another time I delivered to a room at a hot sheet motel. Dude opened the door and while he was counting out the money I saw a naked hooker sit up in the bed behind him. According to Pornhub, you joined them. Every hoarder house I ever delivered to. Honestly, I feel for those folks. There's usually a mental issue that starts it. Sometimes it's just learned behavior. Either way, it's still just sad to me. I delivered to a drug house a few times. It was always obvious that these guys were selling using, but it never bothered me as they usually tipped well. This one time I got there, rang the bell and a bag of, I'm guessing coke or heroin, I have no idea, slipped under the door. Not sure what to do, I decided to kick it back under the door and leave. Not super fucked up, but I think about it a lot. I worked as a delivery driver for a very small Italian restaurant pizzeria during my first semester of college. This one time I delivered pizza to a swingers party. It wasn't like on the set of a porno or anything. He straight up told me when I was like having a party because he ordered 12 pizzas. He answered that this was his first swingers party and he just wanted to be sure everyone was having a good time. Not the best place to serve finger food. A church $834 order I delivered solo in the rain. Humped all those pizzas for a good 30 minutes back and forth from my truck to the altar, got soaking wet, all for no tip, $834 and no tip. What? Was the Lord supposed to pay you in blessings? Damn, I'm sorry. I drove to the customer's house and saw that a guy was being handcuffed by the police in the front yard. I had no idea what to do, so I drove around a neighboring block a few times. When I came back, the police and handcuffed guy were gone. I didn't know if he was the customer or not, so I just walked up to the door and knocked. An old couple answered and took the pizza and paid and didn't say anything about the arrest that happened on their lawn. It was in a city with extremely low crime rate as well, so it was very strange to 17-year-old me. I delivered pizza in a slum during high school. There was a lot of fucked up shit, but the ones that really bothered me were delivering to junkies that had multiple young children just living in filth. There was one particular junkie who was always barely conscious and had like 4 kids living in squalor and eating probably nothing but pizza and soda every day. Also, these junkies always had some shithead enabler, usually their parents, ordering the food for them, so it was 50/50 on whether or no they even answered the door or were otherwise aware of the delivery coming. A whorehouse. Lady who received the pizza was masturbating at the same time. There was a massage business that kept ordering pizza from us. With one of their orders were potato wedges that came with sour cream. One of them had trouble finding said sour cream. Having a bunch of scantily dressed hookers yell at me for sour cream was both hilarious and frightening. I was tipped in acid once. As in LSD, nobody attacked me with acid. One lady always tried to get me to take out her trash or her mail. She was a regular too and never tipped. One old fat dude answered the door without a shirt and was super nonchalant about it. My first day some guy asked me if I wanted to rip his bong. There's another lady who is a regular and I refer to her as the mustache of doom. It's a fun job though. I delivered to a paper supply office back when I was 16. The manager obviously had issues when I couldn't use his coupons over a big order that wasn't applicable for. He locked me in the conference room the entire duration of the office party and eventually paid for the pizzas, but still a pretty annoying situation overall. You have been visited by subscription doggo. Like and subscribe to make him happy.